Welcome to the Literary Titan podcast. In every episode, we dive into a book we've just read and share our thoughts, from best-selling authors to rising literary stars. We read it. Now let's talk about it.
Feathers of Wisdom is a lavish, wide-ranging collection that gathers 44 legends, myths, and historical portraits of Indigenous women across many nations and traditions, pairing each retelling with cultural context and luminous illustration. Authors Leigh Podgorski and Kait Matthews frame the book with a moving concern for language, survival, and cultural continuity, then build a mosaic of women who are not flattened into a single ideal, but appear as warriors, lovers, creators, protectors, mothers, visionaries, and divine figures. Reading it, I felt the book was trying to do two things at once: preserve story and kindle reverence. That dual ambition gives it its shape, from the harrowing prologue about residential schools and the 60s scoop, to the recurring chapter pattern of historical background, legend, and reflective speaks passages that invite the reader into contemplation. What stayed with me most was the emotional range of the women gathered here. The book can move from fierce sacrifice to tenderness in a heartbeat. Aliquipiso, stepping forward to save her people, has the stark clarity of myth at its most elemental, while Blue Flower's refusal to betray her promise gives her story a quiet, almost painful dignity. Later, Buffalo Calf Roadwoman charging into battle to save her brother, and then riding into the legend of Little Bighorn, brings a different force altogether, one rooted in nerve, momentum, and defiance. I admired how insistently the book resists any small, ornamental idea of womanhood. These figures are not decorative symbols. They act, endure, create, rescue, foresee. At its best, the book made me feel the old power of story as moral weather, something you don't just observe but stand inside. The book is earnest, incantatory, and often quite beautiful. Podgorski clearly favors a heightened, devotional register, and sometimes that lyric intensity works wonderfully, especially when it leans into image and transformation, as in Aliquipiso becoming honeysuckle and woodbine, or in Spider-Woman learning to weave the geometry of the universe from the night sky itself. The illustrations deepen that dreamlike quality and give the book much of its atmosphere. The reflective speaks sections occasionally felt more prescriptive than the legends around them, as though the spell of the narrative was being translated into a lesson. I respected the sincerity of the impulse. The ideas here about language as identity, story as continuity, and women as bearers of cultural memory are not casually offered. They come freighted with grief, repair, and conviction, and that gravity gives the whole project real heart. I came away from Feathers of Wisdom less interested in judging it by the standards of a conventional anthology than in recognizing what it is trying to hold together: beauty, homage, loss, resilience, and remembrance. I don't think every page lands with equal force, but the book's spirit is generous and unmistakable, and its strongest passages have a solemn radiance that stayed with me. I'd recommend it to readers drawn to mythology, Indigenous storytelling, women-centered spiritual history, and illustrated books that invite slow, reflective reading rather than quick consumption.
Thanks for joining us on the Literary Titan podcast. If today's review sparked your interest, be sure to pick up a copy of the book and experience it for yourself. If you enjoyed the episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a rating, or share it with a fellow book lover. Until next time, keep reading, not just to escape, but to grow.